Utte Narayanam Namaskritya Ram Chayana Gautamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Tere Nashtaprayi Shavavatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtake. Continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Part 1, Summary of Lord Gaura's Pastimes, Adikhanda, Chapter 1, Text 21st. Panchaskandera ei Bhagavat Katha, Sarva Vaishnavera Vandya Balarama Gatha. The topics in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam concerning Lord Balram, the original Sankarshan, are glorified by all Vaishnavas. Please see Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 17th chapter in this regard. Those who accept Vishnu as the Supreme Lord are called Vaishnavas, and Mool Sankarshan of Balram is the source of all Vishnu Tattvas. Therefore, it's a duty of all Vaishnavas to glorify Mool Sankarshan, who is non-different from Lord Balram. So when he says source of all Vishnu Tattvas, means or Mool Sankarshan, original Sankarshan, that is Balram. But they're all Vishnu Tattva, so Tattva-wise they're all same, it's just they display different potencies according to their position. And another thing that in the commentary it is written, those who accept Vishnu as a Supreme Lord are called Vaishnavas. So we are also called Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnava. So, like Krishna is also Vishnu Tattva. Tattva-wise, he is also Vishnu Tattva. So that's why we are called Vaishnavas. But those actually who are devotees of Krishna are called Karshaneya. Vaishnavas are in general, anybody who is following any Vishnu Tattva is called Vaishnava. But specifically, those who are devotees of Krishna are called Karshaneya. And those who are devotees of Srimati Radharani are called Gaudiyas. Because Gaudiya comes from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He appeared in God's age. So that's why we are called Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So Vaishnava because in general, following followers of devotees of Vishnu or Krishna, Vishnu Tattva, but specifically Gaudiya because devotees of Srimati Radharani. As Shukdev Goswami explains to Maharaj Parikshit in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, when the unalloyed devotees and the leaders of the snakes offer their obeisances to Lord Sankarshan with great devotion, they become very joyful. The demigods, the demons, the Uragas, serpentine demigods, the Siddhas, the Gandharvas and Vidyadhar, and many highly elevated sages constantly offer prayers to the Lord. He pleases his personal associates, the heads of the demigods, by the sweet vibrations emanating from his mouth. Narad Muni, the son of Lord Brahma, always glorifies Anantadev in his father's assembly. There he sings blissful verses of his own composition, accompanied by his stringed instrument, or a celestial singer known as Tumburu. So his stringed instrument or veena is called Tumburu. And playing on veena, he's always glorifying Lord Sankarshan. In this regard, one may also see verses 53rd to 57 of this chapter. So that's position of Lord Balram. Tan rasa krida katha parama udara vrindavane gopi sane karila vihara. The narrations of Lord Balram's Raslila pastimes with the gopis in Vrindavan are most exalted. The definition of Ras Krida is given by Sridhar Swami in his Bhavartha Deepika commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. Ras Leela refers to a particular type of dance involving many women dancers. In his Brihad Vaishnav Toshani, Sanatan Goswami gives the characteristics of the Ras dance as follows. When many women join hands in a circle and are embraced around the neck by male dancers, it's called a Ras dance. In the book named Sangeeta Sar, it is stated, when a male dancer performs, being surrounded by a circle of many women dancers moving about, it is called Halishak. When a Halishak is accompanied by various refined tals or tunes, dance steps and gestures, is called a Ras dance. As it does not exist even in heaven, what is the question of it existing on earth? In his Sarar Darshani commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states, Ras Krida refers to a Ras dance in which there is a mixture of ingredients such as dancing, singing, kissing, and embracing. But here it is not mentioned, but we know from studying Ras Leela pastimes in Bhagavatam, many women dancers, but only one male dancer. Krishna expanded himself with all the gopis in the circle around. And in the center, he was with Radharani. And here also, Balramji, it's not mentioned, but he must have expanded himself to be with all the gopis. So Balramji has his own set of gopis, different from Krishna's gopis, because uh, when Balramji comes near Krishna, he cannot be with the gopis. They all respect, all the gopis respect Balramji as Dauji, elder brother. And Balramji has his own set of gopis. And we haven't been, actually, we should take a trip to that place. So when Balramji came once from Dwarka to give the message to Nand Baba, Yashoda Maiya, that Krishna will come soon. Don't worry. And he stayed in Vrindavan for 3 months. So one day he was with his set of gopis at the banks of Yamuna. And he had this Varuni, the sap of tree, which was little intoxicated. And Balramji and the gopis also were with Balramji. Okay, let's jump in Yamuna. And he called Yamuna, okay, come over here. Yamuna ji was, he's drunk, I'm not going to go near him. So she kept flowing in her course. Balramji got angry. With his plow, he just grabbed Yamuna and made Yamuna into 100 streams at that location. And Yamuna got fearful that, okay, if I don't flow as a river, then my identity will be lost. I have to flow like 100 streams from the here on. And she was like, no, no, no. And she came, offered obeisances, and begged for forgiveness. But at that place, Yamuna still flows in 100 streams. Ram Ghat, that is place. It's little far away from Vrindavan, but we should take a trip over there. And if I'm not wrong, um, the Chir Haran Leela, they show when we do Vrindavan Parikrama near Kalia Ghat. That is a Kadam, but that's not the real Chir Haran Leela. Chir Haran Leela happened near this Ram Ghat. And that Devi Katyani, the Murti is there, not the original Murti, but Gopikas established. But that there is a place, there is a Kadam tree, and Yamuna flows nearby. So someday we should take a trip there. Anyway, so Balramji performed Ras Leela over there also. So he performed with his own set of gopis. The word Udar in this verse means great or exalted. Jiva Goswami describes Balram's Ras Krida in his Lagu Toshni, Vaishnav Toshni commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. Sri Baladev, who is not different from Sankarshan, solaced the damsels of Vrindavan by singing the glories of Krishna's names. Sometimes Sri Baladev draws Krishna from Dwarka by his mind and presents him before a particular gopi in a secluded place. Therefore, he is known as Sankarshan. So Sankarshan, actually, when he was given this name in the beginning when Balramji appeared, because he was going to bring two dynasties, Yadav uh, and Vasudev's dynasty together. So Sankarshan, or the word Akarshan means attracted. So Sankarshan means complete attraction, complete bringing them together. And here Balramji, it is said, he draws Krishna from Dwarka by his mind and presents him before a particular gopi. And that's why he is also known as Sankarshan. He then says, in this way, it is reasonable to say that Sri Baladev performed Rasila with his own gopis because he is the all-knowing Supreme Lord and endowed with all potencies. He knows the internal feelings of his eternal beloved gopis. If one explains this verse in another way, it would diminish the prestige of Dwarka. So there is no need to further elaborate on this. He further says, at this juncture, Balram's mood as the older brother did not manifest in order to protect the pathetic gopis or the gopis who were sad. He also gives a description in his Kram Sandarbha commentary as follows. The all-attractive Baldev, who is also known as Sankarshan, attracts Krishna by his mind and reveals him. The word Ta refers to Krishna's beloved girlfriends. Also in his Brihad Kram Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami says that the word Ta refers to Krishna's gopis. See, so many acharyas have given so many commentaries based on their realizations, of course. And so much of detail is given. Of course, here the writer is only giving some part of those details. But if we look, read those scriptures, if we, I mean, read means if we have to have access, time, intelligence to understand, one can go crazy how much details are given. Like in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami is there speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit had only 7 days. And Shukdev Goswami could not go in much details because Maharaj Parikshit had only 7 days. And first 9 cantos he spoke, and then 10th canto when it came, Shukdev Goswami spoke in so much details. 90 chapters are there in 10th canto. But still, even in those chapters, it didn't even mention, even once, the name of Srimati Radharani or the other gopis. He just said, this gopi said this, gopi said that. Well, first of all, in that assembly, there were many sadhus who were still had that impersonal thoughts, inclinations. And they would not be able to appreciate the name of Srimati Radharani. And I appreciate her name or her position. And Shukdev Goswami was also afraid if I like he's speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, but back of his mind, he's controlling himself from taking the name of Srimati Radharani because he knew he would come in so much of ecstasy that he would faint for at least 6 months. But just saying the name of Radharani. And Parikshit Maharaj didn't have time. But the other acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and other acharyas in their books, they have specifically mentioned when Shukdev Goswami said this, Gopi said this. So they mentioned what's the name of that Gopi? Who's that Gopi? This is the level of their realizations. They're not storybooks that they have written. And another thing to appreciate in this literature is so much of details of Krishna's form, Krishna's associates forms, pastimes, characteristics, the relationships. So much of detail is given. One should really appreciate the Vedic literatures, the Sanatan Vedic literatures. Okay, we might not be able to understand everything. We are not that qualified to that level. We should at least appreciate it. And that is why I feel sorry for those who, first of all, think this is all mythology, imaginary, and then they leave and go adopt some other procedure. What's the need? No other literature gives these details. None. And Shukdev Goswami, when he is speaking Bhagavatam, he is speaking Ras Leela pastimes. He also spoke of uh, Krishna stealing the garment, Chirharan Leela, of Gopikas, little Gopikas. Shukdev Goswami is speaking, who is self-realized sage, who doesn't even wear clothes because he doesn't make any distinction. And all the sages, his father, Vyasadeva is there, his father's guru, Narad Muni is there in the assembly, Parikshit Maharaj, Gautam Rishi, I don't even remember all the names of all the rishis who were there in the assembly. All self-realized sages. So Shukdev Goswami won't say anything and won't even think of anything that is like in today's world they say sexually explicit or in those lines. These days when all these so-called speakers they speak about Ras Leela or Gopi Chidharan Leela, they add their own garam masala in that and they make it like very sensuous topic. This is not so when Shukdev Goswami was speaking. And Sri Krishna, Bhagwan, who's self-satisfied, he's not performing this pastimes for some carnal desires that we might have. He is supreme personality of Godhead. And to establish that 9 cantos were spoken before, and even the 10th canto beginning chapters, to establish Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, not some uh, materialistic person like us. We have so many material desires. Krishna is not that. So point is, these literatures that is given by Vyasadeva and other acharyas, they are to uplift our consciousness, to purify our consciousness, to develop attraction, love for Krishna and his pastimes. And so much of detail is given. What's the need to study anything and go anywhere? Even and Prabhupada has given the essence of everything in his books. Everything. Of course, we cannot understand Brihad Karam Sandarbha and Kram and Bhavar Deepika and other literatures. Even if we get access to it, first of all, access is very difficult. So Srila Prabhupada has given everything that we need to make progress. Everything. Prabhupada studied all this when he was translating or recording his purports. All these books would be in front of him, every acharya's. And he would study them, he would synthesize them in his own heart, this adding his own realizations, and especially for the audience that he's going to have, fools like us. And he wrote his, and he gave his commentaries. So the point is, what's the need to go anywhere else, study anything else, or hear anything, anybody else? especially the Ras Leela. We were talking about Bhagavatam speakers, Katha, Bhagavatam Katha. I don't know if they go into Ras Leela, but some of them, they do talk about Ras Leela. One should not hear from them. That's the point. It's, it's not that easy topic that one can speak about without himself getting confused and confusing his audience. No. Acharyas have given everything very nicely, and on top of it, Srila Prabhupada, for looking at our status, he's given everything very nicely. He did not write the commentary on 10th canto for Ras Leela, but in Krishna book he has explained. And before Ras Leela, he has given so much of philosophical points that if we read from the beginning, that chapter also will not be misled. For an explanation of gopis and a vihar with the gopis, see the purport of verse 25. There is a difference between the Ras Krida of Krishna with his gopis and the Ras Krida of Balram with his gopis. The arenas of two Ras Leelas are situated in different places within Vrindavan. Such spiritual variegated activities are of two types, Maryada or awe and reverence, and Madhurya or sweet. We must be extremely careful to protect our vision of spiritual variegatedness from the attack of monism, these Mayavadis. Although Swayam Rupa Krishna and Swayam Prakash Baldev are not different, the distinction between their pastimes must not be denied. Even though Shri Baldev belongs to the category of the supreme shelter, he is a prime example amongst the subordinates of the Lord. He belongs to the category of supreme shelter. And Prabhupada he said there is no difference between Krishna and Balram. But still, he is a prime example amongst the subordinates of the Lord. And that's what Mahaprabhu also said, Ekela Ishvara Krishna or Sabhritya. Only Ishvara is Krishna. And like we said, they have their Ras Kridas, but different places and different set of gopis. दुई मास वसंत माधव मधु नामे हाला युद्ध रास क्रीड़ा कहे पुराणे. The Puranas describe how Lord Balram performs his Raslila in the 2 months of spring, Madhav and Madhu. According to Srila Swami's commentary, the word Madhu in this verse means Chaitra, March, April, and Madhav means Vaishak, April, May. Halayud refers to Balram and Purane means in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Vishnu Purana. So, this is when Lord Balram performs his Raslila. Se sakal shlokai shun bhagavate Shri Shukha kahen shune Raja parikshite. Now please hear those verses that were spoken by Shukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the following 4 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Shukdev Goswami narrates to Parikshit Maharaj the full moon night Ras Leela of Balram and his gopi friends. Shukdev had previously just described Baldev's arrival in Gokul to receive the affection of his juniors, meet his former Braj friends, and solace those who were afflicted by separation from Krishna, such as the elders, headed by Nanda and Yashoda, the friends of the same age, and the gopis who had fully dedicated their lives to Krishna. And he came to give solace and tell, oh, Krishna will be coming very soon. But problem is Krishna never went, not very soon. and and later in one of the pastimes, later on, that was also the basis of Rath Yatra, Jagannath's Rath Yatra. They all wanted Balramji to go first and tell the Brajavasi, the Krishna is coming. He said, no, I'm not going to go first. But he always says he's going to come and he doesn't go and he makes me a liar in front of Brajavasis. Anyway, that's a detailed pastime we can talk about some other time. Okay, we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, you all are safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai
Hare
Shri Ram.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.